You're listening to the Horrible Gamers podcast with Vetra Nyx.
And Scott Ryder, Pathfinder for the Archiperian.
Hush Your Face is coming straight to your ears. A podcast network that's changing gears with the Brand X Pod and Nerd-A-Wells. The Horribly Awkward Pod, Horrible Gamers as well. The Tavern Pod, Joyous Comedy. A 6-pod network family. www.hushyourface. www.hushyourface. www.hushyourface.com.
The Horrible Gamers podcast may contain content not suitable for all ages. Listener discretion is advised.
Hi, this is Normie Late from Zombie Cast News.
This is Scott Clark with the Gaming Outsider podcast.
Hey, this is Shawn, Iams Fuller from Horribly Awkward.
This is Matt Bradford with the No Sleep podcast.
And you're listening to
Horrible
Gamers
podcast.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome to a very special Horrible Gamers / Horribly Awkward episode, the Mass Effect Andromeda special. As always, for some reason, not as always, but for some reason, Jesus and Ryan pushed out a little bit, and they want me to do the introduction on their podcast, so I am doing that. Obviously, the guys are here, Jesus Gonzalez and Ryan from the Horrible Gamers. Guys,
yeah, woo!
What's going on, guys?
I want to just make this clear. You're still a horrible gamer. Just because you're not part of the podcast anymore, you're still an original horrible gamer.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. But you guys, we got some really kick-ass, awesome guests. I'm not even sure how we got this to work, and we almost messed it up completely because I read things out of context.
You mean you, Iams.
I did.
You almost messed things up completely. We just sat here and watched you do it.
Yes, I'm sorry. But thankfully, they're cool enough to come back and still do the podcast. But without going any further, without talking about who they are, so we've got Danielle Rayne, who was the star of Portal No Escape. If you haven't seen that short film, watch it. It's 6 minutes of your time, and it's freaking awesome. She also did Sarah Connor in the Terminator 3D ride at the Universal Studios. She played Lady Death Whisper in World of Warcraft, which is pretty awesome. And the most important thing out of all, Vetra Nyx from Mass Effect Andromeda! Danielle!
Hey, everybody. How's everybody doing? I'm probably the only one. Who said that they're probably about as far along in the game as I am?
That's me.
Who is that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, Ryan. Yeah, got it. Cool. All right, next.
Danielle,
Shutting up now.
You don't never shut up. So we also got Mr. Octodad himself. I don't know if that's actually I played Octodad. I might be wrong, but the Octodad dude from Deadliest Catch Octodad game. Obviously, he had some voices in Mortal Kombat, Armageddon, and most importantly, Scott Ryder from Mass Effect Andromeda, Mr. Scott Taylorson. Woo!
You just did it again, Knives.
Okay, hold on. Rewind.
So I'm just gonna.
You might as well just change your name right now, Tom.
Okay, so
just change your name.
Command Q. That's shut down Skype, right? That just shuts it down.
Oh, I did this already twice. Tom Taylorson. I was just seeing if you were paying attention, man. Tom Taylorson, what is up?
Hey guys, what's up with you? It's all good. We're good.
And you also got to throw a wrench in the whole mechanical thing of it all. When you got your name like on Twitter, it's like Ryderson.
Yeah, Ryderson. Yeah, I got to change that back. It's hype time is not over, but like on its way.
It's waning.
Yeah. It's time to go back to something standard.
It was so
'cause
yesterday.
There's very few people like you and me, Ryan, who still haven't finished the game on the first playthrough.
Yeah.
What can I say? I'm slow. I'm a horrible gamer. I'm just slow, though.
Then you'll fit right in.
Yeah.
Let's get that. We got to pull that clip out. Ready? Danielle, I want you to say, hi, my name is Danielle Rayne, and I am a horrible gamer.
Hi, my name is Danielle Rayne, and I'm a horrible gamer.
Boom. There you guys go.
Damn,
So you got that.
Bam.
It only happens once. So, guys, I'm really sorry for what I did earlier. Screwed everything up. But we got to move past that and pretend like I'm not as big of an asshole as I might have came off to be.
It was just awkward. And that somehow is apropos.
Yeah, properly awkward.
So yeah, Scott's like super chill. Scott, dude, you got that cool voice where he seems like he's confident.
All right. I want you to write down Tom.
It's because we all know him as Scott. Come on. We know him as Scott.
I just circled it on my paper here.
I am not a person. It's okay. I'm just, I got no credits. I got nothing,
So, Mr. Ryder, after doing Vetra's loyalty mission, Mr. Ryder, how'd you go on? Like, it seems like that was such a cool you played through the whole game, right? Tom?
No, I haven't finished the game.
Oh,
you haven't? Oh, God, I feel so much better.
No. I mean, okay. So when the game was released, I was moving. I moved that week. And there's been a lot of other stuff going on, worky wise and family wise too. So my playtime has been very limited. And I gave out my Xbox Live gamer tag around the time the game came out. And every time I log on, a small gang tries to get me to play multiplayer. So I've put in about 3 hours maybe in the single player campaign and about 8 to 10 hours in multiplayer.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. And we're not very successful. Everybody insists on let's go all Krogan. That'll be fun. We don't live very long. But we have fun. It's a good time, and then I am a bit of a shiny object gamer where it's unless something really just sucks me in, I bop from game to game. The last few years have been terrible. So if it's something really long, like a Mass Effect, I tend not to finish it anymore. Yeah. So I'm bopping between that and finishing up some of the old stuff in Destiny and Overwatch and Breath of the Wild. And we just got Mario Kart for the family, so there's that in there. I play Hearthstone. Diablo 3 just got the seasons on the consoles, so I was doing that.
I'm just playing that.
Yeah, this is all that's going on, and I'm sure there's something. Kamiko, which came out to the Switch, a little independent game on the Switch, and it's wonderful.
Tell me about that. I'm interested in that. Have you played it or?
Yeah. I've put in, got to be like an hour and a half or something like that. It's quick. It's kind of easy. It's got a kind of a Nintendo, like an NES feel.
Yeah, it has that old school Zelda feel to it, right?
Well, it plays more like Hyper Light Drifter.
Okay,
but
yeah.
Looks a little more 8-bit, and it's fast and just and clever, and it kind of pulls you through with its pacing. So you finish a level, you go, oh well, and then it gives you a time at the end, and it was like 13 minutes.
Oh,
and
cool.
It gives you this nice little compact. Each level is kind of the same, but they change it up a little bit with enemies and other things like that. But it's a great little experience. And then I'm thinking, okay, and I do this, and I unlock this, and I guess I get to the end, and it's this. Well, there are 3 different characters that you play as, and each one plays differently. So I'm sure it just takes you through the game each time with those different characters. And I honestly thought, you know what? Okay, I will, because I'll probably finish, one run in an hour to an hour and a half of playtime.
Yeah.
And then you go back and, so it's, 3 hours and $5 American.
That's awesome.
Really well done. It's very clever. Can't say enough about it. It's just there's a simplicity in its design that draws me in. And like I said, relatively quick play times, also a good thing, you know. There's a reason I don't play like Dota or anything like that. It's like, oh, a match is 45 minutes minimum? No.
Yeah. Don't have the time, right?
No. Yeah, not anymore.
I'm sold. I'm gonna get it, man. That seems like
I
a
think
perfect
I am
game
too.
to play in bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I might pick that up.
Yeah, that sounds cool. So you guys like, I don't mean to be awkward or nothing, but let me put this out there. Danielle is playing Mass Effect as Scott Ryder.
Mm-hmm.
And she's also trying to romance herself in the game. So
narcissist, yes. Hello, raising my hand over here. You can't see it, but yes, the narcissist is raising her hand.
That was actually one of the questions that I was going to ask was who are you going to romance in the game? So yeah. I guess we can go with this one.
Well, yeah, and I'm not even like I've done the Vetra loyalty mission, but I've taken her along with me on every mission so far and swapping between Drac and Jal. But, you know, I haven't gotten to the romance stage yet. I defeated the Archon, you know, so I was really happy about that. And now I'm like just trying to, you know, establish the planets. And this is like, you know, my first RPG. So everything takes forever because I'm so bad at it, you know. But I'm having fun. I really am.
Tom, how do you feel about this?
I'm curious. So are you playing it through, and you're saying it's narcissistic, but is there also a little bit of, I want to hear how this stitches together for the first time ever?
Yeah, because it so surprises you when you hear something. You're like, oh, well, that's what that was about. You know, the parts that you recorded and you had absolutely no context and you just kind of like went for it. And then when you finally hear it, and a lot of it because it took place over so many different sessions starting back in June of last year. And I know you started in 2015. You forget. And then it's kind of like that. Oh, I remember, you know, recording that and how much fun that part was. But then it's not like acting where you memorize the dialogue. So you have this connection to it. You are doing everything in this cold reading capacity. So a lot of times people ask me, what was your favorite lines? You know, it's like half the time I did it, I really enjoyed it, but then I promptly forgot it because it was time to move on to the next chunk of dialogue.
Yeah, you're trying to remember the next set of lines.
Yeah. So since there's no memorization, a couple times I actually wrote down when I had a line that just made me laugh, you know, or that I really liked. But other than that, you know, it's all a surprise to me to hear it all, like you said, come together, you know?
Oh, Tom left.
We lost Tom.
Uh-oh. Is he calling back?
He's like, I've had enough of these guys.
I don't want to do this anymore.
He ran out of time. His battery died. I don't know.
Why he just disconnected?
Was it something I said?
Yes. Vetra.
Yeah.
Something you said. I can't believe I said Scott so many times.
I know, you just kept doing it. I was like, no, Iams, what are you doing?
It's okay. That's why.
That's what it was. He was so offended that you kept calling him Scott. He finally just.
Did I call him Scott? Maybe he hung up because no, I didn't. Okay, good. That would have been awful. Yeah.
See, how do I get him back? Call. Add to list. Wait, no list. How do I add?
Add to call. Add to call.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I was looking at the wrong list. Yeah. Yes. Tom, you're there. Maybe something important came up. Oh,
could be. He is a dad. Not just an octo dad, but a dad.
Oh, a real dad.
Yeah, real dad with real kids. Those can just take you out of the action in a heartbeat. What do you mean you're running around with knives?
What? Man, my cousin came over the other day with him, his wife, and his two kids, and I don't have anything for kids to look at, so they go for everything. Like, oh, let me bang on the TV for a little bit, and let me mess with this console down here, and then I just make sure I keep an eye and nothing gets slobbered on. Don't stick the controller in your mouth.
Oh yeah, kids like to do that. How's this taste? Like Suvi wanting to lick the rocks. Ooh.
That's right. Oh, I want to talk to Katie. I got to get Katie on. Her voice is so awesome.
If you get her on, you gotta bring me on. She is. I'm trying to romance her.
Yeah, I tried for the longest time.
Good luck with that.
Well, I'm Sarah,
Sarah?
so I
Oh,
should be
right.
able to. Yeah.
Okay, you got that going on then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, Sarah. Tom's back online, so I'll pull him in right now. It's probably like, oh.
I started my first gameplay as Sarah. Switched over to Scott. Because I failed in the character creation. Is Tom back? No, failed. Totally
Some
failed.
of those characters are hilarious, though.
Oh, man. She had Joker lips.
Yeah, the women were the
so
worst for character creation.
Yeah. And yet I see people can create really amazing characters. I mean, some gorgeous, writers, and I just don't have that skill set yet.
Hey, Tom.
Hey, sorry about that. My computer just completely shut down of its own accord, so I am on my backup recording equipment.
Oh, you're good, man.
so
Yeah.
nice.
Danielle didn't know if there was something she said.
Yeah.
Still sound?
I call you Scott? Oh, crap.
Yeah, right. Audio still sound okay?
Yes.
Yeah, sounds
sounds
sounds the same.
Good. That's my backup. This is my Rode mic.
Aha. What's
That
your
sounds
first
good.
mic, Tom?
That's a TLM 103,
Okay.
and then I have a Sennheiser the 416 shotgun as my. I use that most of the time for most like auditions and things like that. I even use it for audiobooks just because they compress the living daylights out of the audio, and I know I'm missing certain details that I like hearing out of the 103, but you'll never catch them. And it saves me from background noise. It's like because it cuts out so much, and it just drops the noise floor. But I prefer the 103 for most stuff.
Yeah, I just switched from the Neumann to a Sennheiser, but it's not the 416. I just went with the cheaper one. I said the 400 or something like that, just to try it and see, if I like the shotgun versus, the Neumann. So.
Is that what you're using now?
Yeah, I'm on the Sennheiser now.
Sounds good.
Their mics sound great. Like both of
Yeah.
their
They do.
mics sound freaking awesome compared to us.
Like I thought I
this-
was cool getting my little Yeti.
Yeah, for sure.
I started
Yeah,
with
these
a
are solid.
snowball. I started with a
Yeah.
snowball.
Yeah, I had a snowball many, many years ago. I still have them.
I had a snowball in a box, where you get the little padded box and you put all the little foam around it. And you tuck the snowball in there.
We were talking
and then
about
you
that
toss
earlier.
it into a box.
Yeah.
You look like an idiot. But, when you're starting out, you're like, I don't know. I've heard this is a good thing to try. You don't want to invest a lot until you start making some money. So.
Yeah. This what I have the setup right now. I'm still in my box at home, but this is Spark Digital, and into my phone because my computer overheated. Yes, and then I'm in my booth, so it's pretty solid anyways. But I didn't want to take.
Oh, that's
everything
why.
apart.
Yeah.
But I've also got I also have the Chaotica eyeball, which is basically a foam sphere that just goes around the mic.
Oh,
and then
I've heard about that. I'm going to write that down, do some research on it. Chaotic.
Write it down. It's an overly expensive piece of foam. But it was a few years ago. I was commuting back and forth in and out of Chicago to teach at Columbia College. And what was happening is that I was running into situations where between that and then a couple the rare traveling family vacations, I was running into situations where, oh my gosh, I need an audition and I need it now, and I've got nothing. And so I just dumped a couple bucks into this, and I've had it for years. But this little piece of foam, it was just a demo, but I booked a demo from an audition sent at Gate 15 in I think which was it San at an airport. It was I landed and they said, could you do this now? They have this redirect, and I went, I'm at gate A15, transferring on my flight. Give me a minute. And between gating and other magic, I was able to get a usable file as I'm kneeling on the floor, pulling out all of this stuff. Yeah.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Dedication. That is real
that's
dedication.
dedication.
Yeah. Well, it's my team back in Chicago, and I was like, oh my God, I've got to do this. I've got to do this thing. Yeah. And so it was a demo, but I booked the job. Yay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that something that happens a lot with needing auditions and stuff? It's just kind of they contact you we need this pretty quick. Can you get this to us pretty fast?
Yeah.
Yeah. All the time, even on camera, where sometimes I'll be somewhere and you've got to do a self-tape, and maybe you don't have anything but your iPhone, and you don't even have the clothes that are required for the character. You don't have anybody to read with, and they're asking you to do a self-tape, and you're like, what am I going to do? Go down to the hotel lobby and ask one of the bell clerks to read opposite me? You still want to produce something that's a reasonable quality. You don't want them to think, what the is she thinking? And but there's on camera, and I'm sure Tom can tell you lots of stories about last minute requests for VO stuff.
Yeah. And the thing is that what's amazing is that technology has made both things for voiceover first and more recently for on camera. They can get that. You can turn around a pretty darn good audition kind of from anywhere. On a phone or whatever. I think the problem that we've run into in the past, I want to say 3 to 4 years, is people taking advantage of that. They know that this technology exists at this point, and so they will wait to the 11th hour to cast something or find somebody they need, or suddenly realize, oh my goodness, don't we ship this tomorrow? And they throw out some audition at 5 o'clock for something that records Friday morning or whenever, because it ships that night. Wow.
That's crazy.
But they can do it because they know we've got the tech. And I think to a certain extent they also know, talk about dedication. They like, the dedicated people or the people who are all in, they're going to have the toys to get the stuff. And sometimes that's the truth.
Yeah. But you guys both be on a flight somewhere and not be able to do it at that time, That's just, sometimes it's the luck of the draw. Do you happen to be available at that moment? You're close to your computer and you catch it in time, that you can actually record it and bang it out. But, I've had plenty of times where I'm like, I just left the house and I got an hour and a half to my destination, and they're asking for it to be in the next 2 hours. And there's just nothing I can do,
No.
You guys both do commercial work, huh? I know, Tom, you just did a commercial for Honda or something like that, correct?
Hyundai, yeah.
Hyundai, yeah. So I heard that. I saw Frida posted that yesterday or the day before, or recently. Yeah. But you guys both do those commercial reads. Danielle, do you do the commercial reads?
I've done some animated stuff for Target and some other commercials, but mostly I do on camera. We lost Tom again. Tom just dropped out.
No, he's here.
Not.
Oh, you okay? Sorry, I just heard a blink on my side. I didn't drop out, did I? I'm talking to myself in here, and yet I do more on camera, and that's been pretty much my bread and butter. What pays between the jobs is the residuals I get from on camera commercials.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I love them. I have 3 going on right now. It's become much harder to get multiple commercials in the course of a year, just because there's fewer production and very few of them are Class A national network. So when you do get, a couple of them, it's like, wow, thank you. Now I can just focus on my career, because I don't have to worry about that day-to-day, stuff.
And this could totally devolve into shop talk, so just keep an ear out for us, guys.
Yeah. Right. Hey,
but
Mass Effect, Andromeda.
Yeah, right,
we're digging it.
It's awesome.
But I think the other thing too, and the thing that made me move out here a while ago, is that because Chicago is very much a commercial town. It used to be a commercial and industrial town. Then industrials went all non-union, so forget those; those are gone. And the budgets got slashed, so nobody used actors. And so then on top of that, over the last, I want to say probably starting in 2011, 2012, nobody knew how to advertise anymore, or how best to use it. And so everything went digital, and then the networks were losing to, it's all over the place. So in an advertising-based town, if they don't know how or where to put their money, they're making fewer commercials. And then because there's no such thing as a sellout anymore, there are more and more celebrities all over the place trying to do this stuff. So the commercials were just dwindling, and that was a lot of my work. And I just realized, oh my gosh, what do we do? This is not functioning. I used to just work as like a voice actor. Then it was, I'm a voice actor and a narrator. Oh, now I'm a voice actor and a narrator, and I teach. And I was making like the same or less money than when I was just a voice actor. And so the realization, in addition to my wife's work, there was this realization of, well, what do they have? Well, they have content. They have Hulu and Netflix and Amazon and YouTube, and all these places are generating content because there's so many places to put content nowadays. But content is generated in New York or LA.
Yeah, I started in New York, and the industrials were a giant chunk of my bread and butter. In fact, I think that's how I got my first SAG card. My SAG card was in an industrial. And those were like a minimum of $1,000 a day, which back when I was starting out was fantastic money. And you could, get a bunch of those because there were no conflicts. You could do one for Clairol and then the next week, one for L'Oreal, and there was no conflict. So they were fantastic work when they were really good union jobs.
Yeah, we had a lot of that in Chicago too, where it's just whatever it was, there was stuff. And like I said, I got really fortunate with a couple of different things over the years to kind of keep me floating, but then it just dwindled. And I found my way, fortunately, into audiobooks and things like that. And then the wonderful people in the radio department at Columbia College in Chicago. I got to teach, voice acting for video games, actually. And,
really?
I made that a collegiate credit. I somehow got kids college credit for that. And it was great.
Awesome.
I learned so much just watching you work that day at the Martin Luther King Day. That was my last day. I don't know if that was your last day as well on the game.
It was when the contest winners were in there.
Yeah, but to actually, get to watch you, it was fantastic. I mean, it's when you see somebody who knows exactly what they're doing, and already knows how to think and doesn't need that kind of direction that I did in terms of like the video game, characters. It was really fantastic watching you work.
Oh, thank you. It was cool watching you too. And and the same thing is, and also after working on the game for so long, we're in there, we know what we're doing. And that's always fun. And I just love watching everybody work just to see how they did their thing and how they figured things out or, worked through that section where we have no context. Okay, just roll. Trust in the lines and the process and the directors. And that was wonderful. I love that.
Yeah, that was my first time having to do the stuff like, dying by fire, things like that. And thank God they had, is it Jules de Jong? Is that how you say her name? Cora? So that I could basically just, so how would Vetra do what she just did? But boy, that was really hard. And then I had an audience too. And I was like, I got an audience and I'm doing stuff. I'm just like flying by the seat of my pants and feeling like an idiot,
Yeah.
But you got to get it done. Got to get it in the can.
Yeah.
And it was fun.
I had a realization, guys. If Danielle and Tom had a podcast, it would be amazing.
It would be.
It would be like really
It's like
awesome.
we're just sitting here, we're not saying a thing. You guys are just keeping everything going.
It's pretty good.
We weren't kidding when we were bringing you on as the host. So.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, this would be amazing. You guys need to start a podcast.
I know, right? We'll just talk about industry things and like pets.
Yeah.
What kind of pets do you have?
Oh, I've got the
You've got
Samoyed.
dogs, right?
Samoyed.
Now,
Sammy.
does your dog run with you?
She did. Not so much in Southern California, being a winter dog.
Yeah.
I haven't really tried it recently. She will be 8 in the fall. But we used to go for miles and miles, like out and when the high was like in the 30s or the 40s back and around the Midwest.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she was awesome. She probably still could be awesome, but I have no idea when I would run with her. I just try not to run with her when it was like above, like in the 70s.
Yeah.
And it mostly is, even at night. So
Yeah.
I'll probably try again. It's more like a trot. Probably more like a soft trot for
a light jog.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
You're a marathoner, right? Right, Tom?
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why he's in shape. He's one of the few VO people you're going to see like totally fit.
Sort of.
You're pretty fit. What are you talking about?
I got my little like bike tire,
Yeah, but you know what?
because you're old,
It's the sitting too. I noticed that the difference between my body when I was doing a stunt show and doing 10 shows a day, and 5 days a week, the difference between that kind of physicality, the way, we were kind of intended in the beginning to be physical, whether we were hunters or farmers or whatever, to the amount of time I have to spend sitting to record the auditions, to edit the auditions or the podcast, because I do a podcast for the blind too. I find the more I sit, the more I see my body change. So it's kind of that thing. Yeah.
Did you say you did a podcast for the blind?
I do. I record for a company called Airs LA. And they do, different publications for the visually impaired. So
that's really cool.
I do National Geographic Kids for kids. And it's, it's really trite, cute little stories, usually about animals or a new planet or something like that.
Yeah.
But it was a good way for me to work on my technology skills, because I really had to be able to edit and put together as close to a finished product as I could. I think sometimes they sound okay, but sometimes I listen to an old one and go, ooh, I don't think I like that quality, or that didn't sound right, whatever.
Yeah.
So
That is cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's way cool. So I've got to say something about Mass Effect Andromeda, guys. Okay. I feel like the love for Tom, Danielle, and Frida specifically has been like overwhelming on Twitter. Maybe it's because I follow you guys. You guys retweet a lot of stuff, but it seems like there's just so much love for these characters. And I know Danielle says she's new to that, for like having people be so responsive on Twitter and show how they feel about characters they spend so much time in a video game, to say the least. Like how does that also feel to you, Tom? Where just people are overly excited about, because BioWare puts great games and the characters are great, and Mass Effect Andromeda is just one of those games where you feel so connected. Jesus right here, he's really starstruck. He hasn't said much, but he played as Scott Ryder, so like Jesus played the game probably more than any of us. He spent so much time doing everything, and he calls himself Pathfinder Jesus.
That's right.
That's so apropos.
Yeah, there are layers.
That. I like the ring of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, every day that Jesus checks in on Facebook, it's Pathfinder Jesus here. This is my mission he did today. And yeah, so Jesus played with Scott Ryder, and I played with Sarah because I always played the female characters because I don't know, I just whatever. Maybe
I do the same thing.
Awesome. But I mean, how do you feel, Scott? Like having so many people like, oh, it's Scott Ryder. This is just being so connected to that. I know Vetra. We talked to Vetra. Come on, guys. Wow. Right. Danielle.
All right. Guys,
never happened.
Call me Vetra.
Vetra.
We get.
Yeah. So I mean, like it's so you guys. It's got to be like awesome. No one's ever reached out to me on Twitter like that and say that any.
You're not in a Mass Effect game.
Right. So, that's right. You spoke with her earlier. It's really cool. Obviously, very different. I've been around the block. I've been doing this for a while, working as an actor and whatever. And I'm sure that there are people out there. There are more people and a wide audience of people who have heard my, commercials, radio and TV. Than have played, as Scott in Mass Effect. But the the response from people and how much they care, despite what critics or whatever is say, has been wonderful, and the community around Mass Effect has been very wonderful and supportive. And I think that's something that BioWare tries to instill within their work and kind of in the company, and it spills over to the fan base, very much so. And so they, as they instill that in their fans, they bring it back to the people who work on the game. It's great. It's flattering because, as Daniel said, you work on this for so long, and you just kind of have to give yourself over to the process. And you go, I think I'm doing it right. They haven't fired me, and they haven't said no. There's no, there's so little feedback except from the people perhaps working on the game, with you, who also, feel good about what they're doing until it's out there. And so when everybody, says it's good, or even in a rough review, nobody said anything about the voice acting. That means, we did our job. It's like, hey, not bad, everybody.
The voice acting was fantastic. So
I got to say, I had some of those moments when I was working on it, that fear of like, I'm probably just a placeholder and they're going to get a celebrity to do this. And so I better enjoy this while I can, because, by the end product, I won't have done this. I had some of that because I just couldn't really grasp the fact that they had actually picked me. There was a lot of time in there that I thought for sure, especially when I started hearing, about people like Natalie Dormer. I'm like, oh yeah, for sure. They're going to replace me with somebody. This somebody everybody knows, Yeah.
Yeah. This was the first thing I booked out here. So I moved to Los Angeles in the late May of 2015. And I got this job early August.
Wow, your voiceover agents must have been like, woohoo, cha-ching.
Well, well, we were all cautious at the beginning, and I know Mass Effect. And so with that, I also remember, hey, we think we got a bite here. What's your availability for this? And I gave them the schedule. And me being me, I went back and I looked at the auditions because they sent me just everything. Just said, here's a swath of dudes, send in whatever. And I had to go back and I emailed my agent, who's somewhere else now, and I said, hey, I just noticed that all the dudes that I auditioned for, well, they talked to the dude that they want me to play. Is this right? Is this me? Is this a thing? Is this temporary? This is temporary, right? This is it's like demo. Would they do a paid audition? Because this doesn't seem like something you just cast off of what I sent in. That doesn't seem like castable material. And no, and they sent in, and that first day, and there I am. I'm talking to Caroline up in Canada, and as I had to say, okay, kind of keep it cool for a while. But by the third or fourth session, I had to say, just so you know, I know everything about the Mass Effect, okay? I'm the guy that sat there and I read through and I listen to all of the codex entries to get all the lore and everything. That's me, okay? just so you know. And so it was very fun working with Caroline every now and then. She'll go, so this is the Turian. Oh, wait. You know all of this. And then she just...
You made her job a lot easier.
Oh, yeah.
As opposed to me where she had to describe everything.
She just cut to the thing. Yeah. And so they just cut to whatever, and I go, okay, let's go. And there was a lot of fun. Yeah. I mean, for this to be my first... It was so unreal. And while there's a certain amount of normalization to the whole thing at this point, it's still kind of unreal. I like, walking through Target, and there's the game, kind of smile quietly to myself. It's been very cool, and a cool experience, and I hope we get to do more of it. I miss that work. I miss that process. I miss working with the people on this project because it was just so much fun. It was like just between studies and teaching and all sorts of other stuff. Like the Mass Effect gig has been like the culmination of so much work from the past, however long, and it's all distilled, down into this one game. It's like, there you go.
Nice, yeah, that's it. Started the snowball.
Yeah, well, it's just that, coming out here from Chicago, where I'd built my career, and teaching at Columbia College, and I felt like part of being out here is definitely, I have no room to teach anybody anything if I don't come out and play with the big boys. I didn't feel like I had a leg to stand on or any sort of authority, on especially in teaching video game stuff until I came out here and took a swing at this. Can I play with everybody out here? Can I compete? On this particular stage, and so. And so I got the Mass Effect thing. It's like, yay, oh my gosh, wow. Maybe I can do. Okay, wait, now I actually have to do it. Now I actually have to be good at this, And from that then, it's like, all right, this is everything you've done, take all of that study and science or whatever, and try to actually put proof in that pudding and make that performance happen. I think it worked. Yeah.
I need you guys to teach me how to speak more clearly. I stumble over my words. I think my tongue's too fat from my mouth, and I like blah, blah, blah. Like everything comes out right. I mean, right. Nothing comes out right. Everything comes out wrong. I just need to talk to you guys and learn how to speak correctly.
I think you're doing a fine job. I understand everything you're saying, which could be my twisted brain, because we already established my brain's a little twisted, what kind
But I'm like, we're listening to Scott.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
Tom, we're listening to Tom. I did it again. God
yeah,
damn.
I am too. I'm listening going, wow. Yeah,
Okay,
wealth of information.
I'm going to look at his dog picture right there. It says Tom underneath it. Okay, so we're listening to Tom. He's just like, yeah, I'm cool. And I teach people stuff. And it's very cool. People listen to me. And I walk to the store and I see Mass Effect. Like, maybe if I just imitate Tom a little better.
No. You got to do your thing.
I like
you got to develop your, right?
Yeah. So,
and Daniel, we can go down like the actor hole. It's like, okay, no, man. You've got... Start talking.
Okay, so I'm gonna try this again. Okay, welcome to a special episode of the Horrible Gamers podcast. We got two very awesome guests, and if you don't know the Mass Effect Andromeda, if you don't know Mass Effect, see, that's where I go. Is I'll say half sentences and then go back and correct myself and go back and correct myself. I gotta be more confident. Welcome to the special episode of the Horrible Gamers podcast featuring me. Yeah, that's me, Shawn Fuller from the Horribly Awkward podcast. Listen to that podcast if you want a better experience with the podcast.
It's not too bad.
Yeah.
Not too bad.
Not too bad. What, you guys got some questions for these guys? Don't leave it all up to me. It's not even my show, technically.
And
I see Jesus is about to speak.
Yeah. No, so I have a question for you guys. Both of you, this is geared for both of you. So, Danielle, you didn't know Mass Effect before this game. Is that what you were trying to say earlier, that you had to kind of teach you about the Turians, about, the Krogans and all the different races in the game?
Yeah. That was one of the things that Caroline was fantastic about, was trying to explain, who these races were and whatnot. But, at the end of the day, it's like, whether you're dealing with, an enemy that maybe your enemy happens to be, like, say, from Terminator, it's Cyberdyne. Is there some big artificial intelligence that you're fighting with? These different kinds of things, you can explain so much, but then you've just got to go for it. And I think, Tom, you once said something about, Krogans. Well, just imagine the biggest, baddest dude you've ever seen, and that's a Krogan. Oh, okay. Got it.
Yeah. I mean, it's because I'd be like, oh, do you need to know about? No, you don't. You just need to know acting. And because they'll find a way to get to you, they'll find something that'll click with you. And it doesn't have to be in the world of the whatever, just so long as your imagination is sparked enough to get the reaction or the action out of you that they need for the scene or sequence. You don't need to know what a Krogan is. You just need to have the idea of, some enormous, 8 foot tall, linebacker, that ate another linebacker. It's just
for breakfast.
Yeah, and you just go, okay, all right, I've got that. Go. Okay, I've got this. Go. We'll find ways of doing it. It's nice to have the shorthand, of either knowing a franchise or video games, things like that. Working on, was it Hunter the Reckoning many years ago, which is part of the World of Darkness, the White Wolf games, like Vampire the Masquerade, that whole universe.
Yeah, I remember that game.
Yeah. And so I played the Warden, who's a vampire, one of the bosses. And they brought me in, and they're looking at me kind of sideways, and trying to talk to me. The director's like, so this is your character. Are you familiar at all with the World of Darkness? He's kind of being a little sheepish about it. I said, oh yeah, I played Vampire the Masquerade when I was at university. I know everything we're doing here. And he just immediately relaxed, had a big sigh, went, "Oh, God, great. Okay. So your character, he's a typical Ventru." And he just starts riffing on the world, on the vampires thing. And I was like, "Yep, I know exactly what we're doing. Let's go." And later on in the days, we're doing the effort noises. He said, "Okay, I need some jumping sounds." This is kind of like, I said, "Yep, I know what we're doing. Let's go." And I gave him 3 in a row. They were like, "Yeah, those are okay." And
give us 3 jumping sounds right now. All right.
That's pretty good.
It's just, but it was just one of those things. It's like, I've played the games. I'm with you. And they were working with a lot of people in Chicago who just hadn't. There's a wonderful. Again, you don't need to know this stuff, but there's a reason why you got so many great people working as actors and performers in video games. Is a lot of us now have grown up on these things, and we're kind of cheating by having listened to all of the work that some pioneers started in the 90s and early 2000s in video games, so we have played their work and we're stepping onto that and performing with that in mind, because the groundwork has been laid.
Jesus is getting bombarded with a cat and a brother. Yeah, that's all, yeah. It must be such a relief. Like here's all the backstory. Oh wait, you know it already. Frick, that's awesome.
That's pretty awesome, And this is for you, Tom. I have a question for you. So when you knew that you were going to be the Pathfinder of Mass Effect Andromeda, the new game in the series, everybody, when I played this game, when I listened to Scott speak, you could tell that he's kind of not very confident in being the Pathfinder, right? He's like, I'm kind of new to this. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. And he doesn't have that confidence that, what the hell was the guy's name in the other game?
Shepard.
Commander Shepard had in the Mass Effect, the trilogy. So, how did you do that, man? Like, did you just put yourself in that mindset, like, all right, I'm a new kid on the block. I don't know what I'm doing out here in this galaxy. I'm new. My dad just died. All this stuff just happened. Yeah,
there's that. We have a wonderful team of directors too, making sure that that's in there. And then a lot of this stuff is written that way, and so they brought that out, and then hopefully it plays, but they tried to have things be a little more confident as the game went on, because we record out of sequence. We try to say, oh, how far in the game is this? Okay, so this should be a little more confident. This shouldn't be as confident, that kind of thing. But the more I thought about it, especially after like a couple of interviews earlier this year, I realized, there's a bit of me in there. Somebody who's been thrown into a role who doesn't necessarily feel like they know what they're doing. Mm-hmm. And you just kind of throw yourself. I just showed up in LA, and you know what I mean? It's like I have training and background and I know what I'm doing, but this is still kind of new and intimidating, and I'm surrounded by these other people who are professionals who probably should be doing this, and the imposter syndrome kind of thing.
Yeah. You just find a way to relate with it, right?
Yeah. So there was a lot of that. And again, a lot of the stuff, the way it was written and other things, I just looked at it and went, oh, I know how this should be done. It was very immediate. It clicked. And I've done long runs of plays where I realized later, it's like, why didn't that director have me? I just never clicked in the role that she put me in, and it just never quite worked. Whatever it was, I couldn't get what she wanted, and I was, frustrated. But I did the show anyway to the best of my ability. This clicked. I felt like things were coming relatively, I don't know about easily, but simply. And I was like, oh, I get it, yeah. And we got a lot done because of it. I don't know if Danielle felt the same way, just like playing Vetra. It's like, oh, yeah, I am supposed to be here. Yeah, this character feels right. This feels at home. This is right. And so it was a casting thing, and I thought, oh, I guess I am supposed to be here. This works. This works.
Vetra
there's a comforting feel when it feels like, oh, you identify with something, you go, oh, this is in my wheelhouse. Oh, thank goodness. And then a lot of it is, the writing, elements of Vetra that just were so well written by Cheryl Chi, that just kind of made it, there's nothing like good writing. I don't care if it's a TV show or a movie, when you're doing bad writing and when you're getting good writing, it helps so much.
That's cool. Vetra is always like confident and calm.
She is. She's
at
always,
all times.
But I mean, that's how
unless she's dealing with romance, in which it's like, what? Who? Me? Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
So again, I guess my next question will be, how nervous or excited were both of you when you guys realized that you're in the next Mass Effect game? Like, because to me, I want to say this just right now, Mass Effect is my favorite trilogy on the last generation systems, the 360 and the PlayStation 3. It is my favorite trilogy. Like, that game, I remember when Mass Effect 3 was coming out, there was a lot of hype around it, right? Everybody was so excited. People were pre-ordering this. People were going crazy on N7 Day. We're like, oh, this game is coming out. And I remember when that game came out, I was like, okay, I got to go back and play this game. So I played the first one, beat it in a week, played the second one, beat that the second week. Then I went straight into the third one, and now it's just, I was in Mass Effect. So I love that series. How excited were you guys when you guys knew that you were in this next game?
Well, even as a total non-gamer, I'd heard of it. I'd heard of Mass Effect. But beyond having heard of it, everything I had to do was, as soon as I'd run home from a session, I'd start Googling stuff just so I could start to, okay, who's Nyreen? Okay, what are these Turians? I had to basically just whatever I could find online for research. And it wasn't until N7 Day that I actually got a whiff of how big it could be. And that, of course, was also about the same time that it's like, oh, they're going to recast you with a star, or they are a big celebrity. That was at the same time that starts kicking in, where you're like going, oh my God, this is huge. And the imposter syndrome, where you're thinking, oh, okay, wow. But it was incredible watching N7 Day and watching, because that was the day that Frida and Tom were announced, and watching what was happening to you guys was just incredible. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think you were having a big day. I think you were working that day, Tom. You couldn't even do anything until the end of the day, right? Am I right?
I think we had session. I think both Frida and I were in session that day. But no better way to, you know what I mean? It's because then you're off of the social media and whatnot, and you just go to work. But it was really cool. I knew exactly what I was getting into from the get-go. Not necessarily, I knew the game, and I was a fan too. I played the first. I remember exactly where and everything. I remember playing the second. I remember putting off finishing the third until they patched the ending. Not because I wanted to. I was disappointed. I had not even gotten anywhere near the ending, and I thought, oh, well, if they're going to change it, I'm going to wait until that final vision is in place. You know what I mean? Yeah. If they're going to make a change, they feel strongly about it. I'm going to wait until they've got their vision in place.
See, I was the opposite. I powered my way through the game because I wanted to see the original ending before they changed it to the other one.
Okay. Yeah. So it was. It was exciting and obviously intimidating too, in that I'm just thinking, all right, well, geez, don't screw this up. What do we do? Don't screw it. Especially considering the love that the community has for the characters and their respective actors from the previous trilogy, and those are characters and actors whom I love too, Mark Meir, and I played through as a female Shepherd. I played through as with Jen Hale and all of those. It's just what do you do? It's like you think, oh, do I top? You can't top it. You don't. You come in and you do your own thing.
That's awesome.
Find that, do your thing, and that's the only thing you could do. That's the best thing you do is do your thing and then go home. And everybody else will decide where it falls from there. So. Excited and intimidated all at the same time. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
This podcast, man. We're excited and we're intimidated.
I'm intimidated. Yeah. So I got another question for you. Did you guys ever go off script? Is there anything in the game that you guys just kind of said or added to any lines that you guys remember that you're like, hey, I added that and actually kept that in there,
No, I tried, and they would squelch it every time. They can't.
Really?
They can't have any. Yeah. There's no room for any ad-libbing. And ad-libbing is just something that I often do. I'll button something at the end, especially for VO auditions. But there's no space for a button. You have to absolutely. And sometimes it was down to a timing, too, that you had to match a certain timing as well. So there just wasn't even room for an anything like that. You just had to go with exactly what was on the page.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
That's amazing.
Because there's a lot of jokes in this game. There's a lot of times where I'm just cruising around with Vetra and Drac, and they'll be talking to each other, and I'm just laughing. I'm like, are they really talking about this right now? They'll be joking around. Or times with Scott Ryder, he'll be joking around with the crew, when he's walking around or when they're doing missions, he'll just say something, and you're like, wait, was that scripted, or did he just really just randomly say this?
But that's good acting. He makes you believe that he just improvised that line.
Yeah. Because I think it's like Danielle was saying, everything's written because it all has to be subtitled, and then it all has to be translated into a billion different languages that are also subtitled. Yeah. And then it's also, voiced in, I believe, German, French, something else as well. So you've got to account for all of that. Any jokey stuff, that's all written. So then it's our job to go, okay, well, what's my version of the timing of this? Especially if you get the joke. Yeah. If it's like, oh, I guess this is funny, but I didn't run into anything where I was like, no, this is not funny. It was always, oh, I know how this one goes. Oh, I know how this one goes. I think my favorite that somebody found was the Scott scans something and then makes fun of himself for talking to himself, which is like a kind of like making fun of the game for having to announce everything. Like I'm player character and I'm not informing myself, I'm informing the audience, but I'm making fun of that fact. I love
breaking the fourth wall.
Yeah, that fourth wall break. And I love that because I think that's take one. Because, and on the other side of the glass, Josh Dean, he was our local director for a lot of it. Josh directed a lot of it. And Josh and I have very similar, scarily similar tastes in humor and all sorts of that stuff. So if I made him laugh, I know it's good. And then every now and then he'd come back with something, and it's also a good suggestion. So we'd re-record it with that in mind, and just bandying back and forth. We got each other, and we knew exactly where some of this stuff was going or where it should live. And so I think that comes through as well.
That kind of leads into a question that I wanted to ask. Is there a moment when you guys were recording that stands out to you as something you'll always remember? Like, did anything ever happen while you were doing a recording that just you just were laughing or whatever that you'll always remember as a moment?
Yeah.
I don't know. I will always remember the first time I actually got to see my character. And I actually had to record something, to her. But it's that, I was just giddy to actually see my voice with this character. And she wasn't completed at that point, but, she was on the way. And I'll never forget that feeling because it was, it's nothing until then. You're just talking into the microphone, and then you get to start to see what it looks like coming together. And that, I remember, was incredibly exciting.
That's awesome.
Cool.
Well,
I feel like this podcast episode, the episode art should just be the romance between Vetra and Scott. I just think that would be the perfect image. Find a screenshot. There's got to be a GIF out there somewhere.
There's some great fan art of Scott and Vetra. Some really nice.
There's some amazing fan art. All of the Vetra too, because since Vetra is a Turian, they got that. She has the cool alien look. People get really creative with those with the art. Like, you posted a couple things recently. I'm just like, that's really freaking awesome. That just looks amazing. It must be weird for Tom for you to see your face in a game and it being. Not your face, your character's face in a game being 100 million different faces.
Yeah.
That's fun. And part of it is, I kind of go, oh man, does that play? I feel really bad. I go, I'm sorry, person, of anybody not white. If Scott just comes out sounding like the whitest white that ever whited, I am so sorry because that's how I feel. Because sometimes they'll create something and then I go, man, he looks badass. And I think of like 50 different people who could do that particular character's voice so much, better justice than my Scott performance. So that's strange, that's odd, but cool, but very cool. Cause I know that's part of the game, Stephen Brewis is the face of Scott Ryder as on the box, as it were. But you get to do whatever you want, and you just kind of go, okay, they get to do that. So yeah, that's fun. There were a bunch of different moments that I thought were just outstanding and cool throughout the recording process. I think the one that stands out among a few of them, the funny one was when a character's name was Skiat. There's a Skiat. I don't know if it's still there. And it reminded me of an old colleague from Chicago from many, many years ago. And how funny that guy was. And I laughed. It was about a 10 to 15 minute giggle fit. We lost 10 to 15 minutes of recording because I couldn't get through the scene because I was laughing so horribly. And it's on a hard drive somewhere. It's on a hard drive somewhere. Judy Lee, our engineer over at Formosa, saved all of it. She opened up Pro Tools and just let it roll. So there's like, oh yeah, there's 10 to 15 minutes of me just laughing.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think they also, as a backup, Formosa just leaves the session open in case anything happens with the software that we use for BioWare. Yeah.
Yeah. Does Vetra ever laugh in Mass Effect Andromeda?
I don't know.
Oh Lord, yeah. There's that. There's a crazy laugh when you're driving around the Nomad and you hit some really great terrain and catch air, and there's like a big laugh, and I don't even remember, but it's that kind of like that sound that I make when I'm on a roller coaster and I'm just screaming and laughing and wooing and everything. And that's a couple of people have posted that. There's that just, I listen to that and go, oh, great. Now everybody's been to a theme park with me. Yeah, that's what it sounds like. Yeah.
That's awesome. One of my favorite moments in the game was when Vetra invites Scott to go to like a lookout point on Kadara. And then you go there, and it's a side mission. You don't have to go there; it's optional. But you go there, and you guys climb up these rocks, and you're on top. And everybody screenshots this moment. I know I took a screenshot of this moment.
That is mine. That's my screenshot on my PS4, man.
You take that screenshot, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome
it's a great looking one. I haven't done that yet. I'm on Vold right now, and it's just cold and icy. But yeah, I got to get back to Kadara and try that. That was an interesting one because I do think that the rock climbing was that first time when I saw Vetra. I think that was the first session I had that I had to match stuff. And that was the first time I got to see it. Yeah.
So yeah, you guys don't do capture, right? You're just doing voice.
I asked them to, but yes.
Yeah.
I said, put me in the suit. Coach.
You wanted to do it.
Oh gosh, yeah. Because
it'd be so much fun.
Well, and very early on, we were doing voice matches to somebody else's performance. Mm-hmm. And because they have a team of mocap actors up there in Edmonton. Yeah. And I would be matching to the female Ryder, then sometimes the male Ryder, and then sometimes somebody random. And then male Ryder, part of the way through the process, wasn't available, and they replaced him with a British gentleman. So that was fun. So as much as I had to adhere to his timings, his instincts followed mine very closely. I loved his work, but there were timings that just simply would not work because of the accent. Yeah. So it's like, oh my gosh, can I do it, please? But no, they have a team up there because they're constantly doing that for a while until they lock all that down. And they cast the voice cast, all over the world. So maybe for the next one, I don't know. And there's now technology in place too for them to capture more of our performances in the future than they did maybe in place for this one. I know, like I did some random background person work for a game I can't talk about, but I came in and they put the helmet on me. So they did full facial capture for like background citizen.
Oh, nice. Yeah. So let me guess. Is it Mass Effect Andromeda 2?
No, not Mass Effect Andromeda 2. But so I was amazed and was like, wait a minute, really? You're going to capture? Because it was just ripping through a bunch of background character lines. I was like, wow, they're going to capture all this stuff. That's unbelievable. But that's out there, they can map our performances onto all sorts of faces. So who knows for the future?
Yeah, that's awesome. And Scott, you're like, Tom, damn it. Tom's like, let me at least get in there and do the mocap for the romance scenes. That's all I want.
That's all I want to do, the mocap.
It's funny because they would talk about, oh man, we just saw the stuff for this scene. Ooh, it's pretty. I'm like, that's great. There's just people recording, in a room with little balls all over their bodies, just trying to, yeah.
You mean that in what way? You mean balls as in mocap balls, or in like?
Do you guys find that awkward at all doing the romance scenes?
I didn't. It's more dialogue. The only thing that was awkward was making out with the back of your hand.
Yeah.
That was a little interesting. That was Josh telling me, we'll try this. And really, I haven't done this since I was like, 12. Right. Imagining what it'd be like to kiss a boy,
practicing kissing.
Yeah, practicing kissing. So okay, I can go back to that. Why not?
That's funny. Yeah, that's awesome. That's the weirdest. That's the weirder part, really. And
committing to kissing the back of your hand. You must commit.
Gotta get into it.
I think too. There's a. If I'm remembering, and I may be misremembering the original trilogy, there's because everybody's kind of young. With the exception of some of like Reyes or something like that, nobody's particularly smooth. And so you get kind of like young, all the romances are kind of young and sometimes slightly awkward and so that was kind of fun in a sense to kind of tap into that, maybe I'm really, remember when you were bad at establishing a relationship or even just talking to, a boy or a girl. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, and they wrote that in there. That's all in there. Some people, chide at the the Suvi and Sarah stuff that's out there. But I thought it was brilliant and very funny, and they nail it being, Sarah, Frida as Sarah being so awkward.
Yeah,
I like
that
you.
Is really great.
Like being around you.
Then when Kalo says, kill me now.
Yep. It's great, and so it's fun to kind of tap back, being an old man with kids and stuff, to kind of tap back into that and go like, oh yeah, I don't want to go through this ever again, but it's fun to play for a little bit.
Yeah,
so awesome, you guys. We could sit here and talk forever. I've told Danielle we get her out of get her out of here. Okay, I'm gonna start that.
Get me out of here because it's my mom's birthday and it's dinner time.
Happy birthday to your mom!
Older
Happy
people
birthday.
eat so early.
Happy birthday, Vetra's mom.
Tell her horrible
Mom
gamer
Vetra
says happy birthday.
Well, thank you. I'm sure she's gonna love that. Who? What? Who? Yeah.
Dumb kids from the West Coast and one from Canada.
She's actually the one who listens to all my podcasts, and if you're on my fan page, you'll see she comments on everything.
That's
I'm like,
awesome.
Thanks, Mom. Thanks. This is awkward, but thanks.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
My mom would never listen to an interview of mine. We'll wrap up. You guys have any closing statements? Ryan, Jesus, anything else you want to ask? We can.
All I know is that Mass Effect Andromeda 2 has been confirmed on this podcast.
It's got the mocap.
That's right.
Tom is doing the mocap.
That'd be nice.
Tom, I apologize for any time I called you Scott. I don't even know
That's
how
a
I did
lot. That's a lot of apologies.
Yeah.
I apologize so much, and I haven't been drinking or nothing. I swear that was last night's deal.
Oh.
It's your hangover that's killing you, right?
That's right.
I'm not even hungover. Yeah, this was awesome. Thank you guys, and I really do apologize for the inconvenience of the timing and stuff. Whatever happened earlier, forgive me.
No worries. It's so good to talk to you again.
Yeah,
Yes,
good to talk to you. Thanks for having us.
So
Thank
you guys
for coming
close this
on.
out and have them do their plugs.
For sure. You guys go ahead and plug your stuff. Where can we find you guys besides on the Tempest? But let us know where we can find you.
Yeah, I'm usually down in that little room by the Nomad working on something in the little storage area. Why am I in the storage area? I don't know. I'm not sure, but I am. got my little setup. Now I got nothing to plug. I am like, NDA'd up to my eyeballs of everything that I've just done. So, other than a movie coming out this summer called 100 Yards, where I have a small part, but it is with the physical actor of Scott Ryder, and his name is Stephen Brewis. Yeah.
Awesome.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah.
But your Twitter and all that.
Yeah, Twitter is Danielle Rayne, and I love it when people, give me a shout out on there. Just stop by and say hi.
Awesome. And Mr. Tom, I said it correctly that time.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, his name is Scott.
Scott Ryder.
Scott Ryder.
Yeah. So I am at Taylorson on Twitter. I've got a web page that needs some updating. Oh my goodness. I'm on Facebook too. Tom Taylorson, voice actor. And I don't really have much coming out. The audiobooks are still on their way. I don't know if I can say that I did it or. So I just recently finished up the audio version of the novelization of the upcoming Aliens film.
Ooh.
So that was fun, and I totally spoiled the next Aliens film for myself.
Oh no!
So, but that'll be out. I think that'll be out sometime in May, and then I have an NDA. I can't talk about that.
What is it? We won't record it. We'll be talking.
No, I can't.
We'll beep everything out right now. Come on.
And I've got like no other video games. Of course, I had Gilgamesh out for the DLC in Final Fantasy 15. I'm Gilgamesh.
Oh, cool.
And yeah, that was a treat. But then, you'll be hearing a lot of me doing the Scott Ryder voice for Hyundai.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yay.
Yeah, I realized after I got the gig, and I was like, oh no, they'll be, Hyundai all over the place, and and everybody following me on Twitter is going to go, is that Scott Ryder for Hyundai? Yeah,
they're going to start calling you Scott too.
It's
and
pretty.
Hyundai
Yeah.
going to capitalize on that by coming out with their new car, the Nomad. Somebody's got to jump on that. They're going to change the name of the Rogue to the Nomad.
Somebody, before that, like weeks ago, before the whole Hyundai thing happened, made like car advert posters for the Nomad. And they're fantastic. And I tried to link or find, and I can't again, so I'd have to dig through Twitter to find it. It was wonderful, and that came out, and I went, oh, funny. You should mention that. So yeah. So the Hyundai thing has been a lot of fun. So yeah, you guys will be hearing plenty of that real soon.
Let's hear a quick little ad for the brand new Hyundai Nomad, Tom.
Is it the Hyundai Nomad? Better drive us over mountains and rivers and hills and lakes and anywhere else you want, including on top of the Tempest.
And it includes a free upgrade to Boost upgrade. You got to have a Boost upgrade.
Now with Boost.
Not with Boost upgrade.
With more Boost.
At least the 2017 Tempest it's. Yeah.
That's such a good voice for commercials.
Yeah, it really is.
Like
perfect.
Like I said,
Good
it's
for
pretty
you.
much
Can't
Scott
wait
Ryder.
to hear it.
Yeah, it's pretty much Scott Ryder voice for all. Yeah, it's very. it's a strange thing. What that character in that read has done. So
let's hear one, Tom. Let's hear one for the Horrible Gamers podcast. You were listening to the Horrible Gamers podcast. This is Scott Ryder.
You are listening to the Horrible Gamers podcast with Scott Ryder, Pathfinder for the Archiperion.
Yeah, sweet. See, you guys, that was dope.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
What about Danielle? Danielle, we need a Vetra one.
Oh.
Got to process it. You guys have to process it.
Was this the horribly awkward show or the
horrible
gamers?
Horrible gamers.
Horrible gamers. You're listening to the Horrible Gamers podcast with Vetra Nyx.
I did. Did you listen to our skit we did, Danielle?
No, I was too embarrassed.
It was pretty good. It was pretty good.
Did you like it? Yeah, I have
through
hard
and
listening to any of my
you
work.
said. I went through and highlighted every word you said little by little, and I put the effect over her voice, so it sounds like you sound like Vetra.
Oh, that's awesome! So cool. Okay, I will listen to it because you did that. Okay.
Yeah, I'll link you. I'll link you guys.
Cool.
So you guys, I have it cut out on. I put it on YouTube. Nobody goes to my YouTube, so it's just hidden there. So nobody's gonna see it. But I'll send you guys the link. It's really good.
That would be fun. I would love to. Yeah. Cool.
Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah, so we want to thank you guys for coming on, and of course, you can always follow our podcast at _HorribleGamers on Twitter. Find us on Facebook at Horrible Gamers, and find our community, Horrible Gamers Podcast Community, on Facebook. It's a closed group. You can join it, get in there, and your friends won't get to see the stuff you post in there because it is a closed group. Also, find me on Xbox Live Gamertag, Jesus Walks a Lot, and this week, you'll probably find me playing some more Mass Effect now because talking to you guys, it makes me want to go back. I put 100 hours into the game, and I finished it, and I just want to go back now. That game's so good. It's probably my favorite Mass Effect game so far. Oh, and it's just because it's good. You know, like I felt connected to at the end of the game.
Nice. I got
awesome.
got 40 hours in, so you just inspired me to get back in there and get some more going on.
Yeah. It took me 100 hours. I looked at my time played, and I was like, wow, I can't believe I put that much time into it. It didn't even feel like 100 hours. But yeah.
Cool.
What about you, Ryan?
Yeah. You can find me on Xbox Live, Steam, PSN, under Gib8777. You can find me in the Facebook group under Ryan Gibson.
Awesome. Yeah, you can find me at awkward_podcast if you want to listen to, or find me on Twitter. If you're listening, you're probably hearing this on my feed too, because we're going to put this on both of our feeds. So if you're listening to this one, also listen to the Horrible Gamers podcast, and make sure you follow Danielle Rayne and Tom Taylorson, because they are super awesome and took their time out to come and hang out with us, and it's been great. If you guys want to play video games with me, I'm a grown-ass adult, and all I do is play video games. They call me Iams. Find me. Thank you. Boom.
All right. And as Gidget would say, guys, peace out, Brussels sprouts. We'll see you on the next week's edition of the Horrible Gamers podcast. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Can you imagine an imaginary menagerie manager managing an imaginary menagerie?
Okay, let me try that again. Menagerie. I like magician.
Hoping to get some tips on improving my gameplay in Mass Effect Andromeda, but okay.
I'm sure Jesus can help you out with that.
For sure.
Scott, so you did so you did the Mortal Kombat Armageddon, and the characters you did were Argus, Dagon, and Orin?
You called him Scott.
That's a different character. That's a different guy. All right.
Thanks, guys. That was a lot of fun.
Well, thank you for coming. Yeah, that was awesome. That was really great.
Have fun, Danielle. Good to talk to you. Hi from afar.
Yeah, good to talk to you again. Bye.